how's your weight? Do you have any struggles with weight?
No, I don't. My weight is pretty constant. So, I actually, when I was 20, I went to Australia, and I think a lot of my trauma kind of kicked in Australia. And, I was there alone, away from my family. And so I just started eating massive amounts of chocolate, and I gained a lot of weight while being there. And a few years after that is when I started my vegan journey. And really, since I started, kind of leveled off at 125, and I'm 5'4", and it pretty much stays there. So, I mean, of course, a pound here, a pound there, but
right.
more or less, it just stays there.
Do you eat chocolate anymore?
I do, but I eat raw chocolate, and it's
big
so
difference.
Delicious.
The reason why
and that's the thing, a lot of people think that if they eat healthy, they kind of combine it with disgusting food, just bad tasting
right.
food.
Right.
And
bland
that stereotype just makes me so sad because it's so untrue. This food is just so delicious. You just have to know how to make it right.
Exactly. We have our other guest here in the studio today is a chocolatier. Her name is Anne, and she's also a chef, and she cooks healthy. And often teaches cooking classes. And do you cook vegan too? I imagine you do.
I do. I love cooking vegan. I kind of like the challenge of learning new things. But I actually was vegan for a year when I was pregnant with my first daughter, and I'm a social eater. My husband was grilling, and so I ended up eating meat again. But I really liked it. I think I made every recipe from the Laurel's Kitchen, which is a cookbook, was like one of the first vegan cookbooks that I had read. And she was really healthy. I had a really healthy pregnancy, so I do attribute some of that, to that. I think being younger and helped too, but I love everything. So
right.
That's my problem. I love every kind of food.
When I was in my I guess mid-20s, early to mid-20s, I was a vegan for several years, and when you're going to laugh, Marina, when I tell you why. I worked at an upscale steakhouse. And the waitresses had to come in the back door, and the smell of the meat, because they'd cut all their own meat there and everything, and the smell of that just nauseated me to the point where I couldn't eat meat anymore. So I was I never did drink milk. However, I did eat cheese, so I guess I was just a vegetarian, and I betcha for 5 or 6 years, and I was a vegetarian. And then when my youngest son, he's a foodie, but one day he came to me when he was about 8, and he said, "I choose not to eat meat, Mom." And I asked him why, and he said because he thought it was mean.
Oh, kids are so smart. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. So we became vegetarians again. Why cook differently for him? So we all became vegetarians. So throughout my life and throughout my children's lives, both of them have been vegetarians off and on. My oldest son, who lives in California, was a vegetarian for years and years. I bet you 12 to 15 years he was he's your age. And he was.
So what stopped him?
He met a woman.
Did he switch back to eating meat?
He met a woman that was a meat eater, and he started eating meat again.
Yeah, it can be tough for couples. I'm really fortunate that my partner eats the way that I do.
Right. But I don't think he eats very much meat. I think he's like a social meat eater. So
that's good.
Give us an example of your day of meals. How does it start for breakfast, snacks, lunch, and dinner?
So I love fruit. So So I make a lot of smoothie bowls. If you look at my Instagram account, it's all smoothie bowls. I really love them. And they just have whatever kind of fruit I have on hand. Right now it's mostly frozen because it's, you know, not the best season right now. But,
right.
And then I always put greens in there. And then I kind of have that for breakfast and lunch, either whole fruits or smoothie bowls or smoothies, anything like that. And then I try to have a green juice before dinner. It does not always happen because it takes a lot of time to make them, but I try. And then for dinner, I either will have a massive salad with a really good dressing, or I'll have a cooked meal. So any vegetables, any beans, lentils, soups, anything like that.
Very good. It's making, I'm hungry. It's making my mouth water. Oh, nice. I see your page and it's beautiful. Smoothie bowls. I never heard of that before.
It's a lot more fun than smoothies. You know what? I fell in love with them because they're better for your digestion than smoothies, because we tend to just gulp down the smoothie when you actually have to chew. It's really important to chew your food because your digestion starts in the mouth. That's one thing. The other thing, it's just really fun because it takes longer to eat them, and I love eating, so why not?
And it's so pretty. They look so pretty, too.
Yeah, and we eat with our eyes, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. And you agree with that, don't
you?
So what do you put in your green smoothies?
I usually use either a little bit of kale or a lot of spinach because it doesn't have a lot of strong flavor. And then probably two or three frozen bananas, and probably another type of berry and dates, and some water or coconut water, and that's pretty much it.
Yum. Very good. Wow, this has been very interesting. So tell us again what your website is, your blog, and how we can get a hold of you, and about your program that you're starting.
Yeah, sure. So my blog is soulintheraw.com, and soul is SOUL. And when you go on there, you'll see on the front page 3 oil-free vegan dressings, dips, and sauces, and you can download those. And that's how you get on the waiting list for the program. So the program is all about how to eat flavorful vegan food effortlessly. And my trick is really the sauces, dips, and dressings, because, you know, when you just eat vegetables on their own, they will not taste as good. You want them to have a really nice flavor. And so I teach people how to make those without oil, because oil is one of the problematic things for digestion and health. Just like we were talking about meat, he found that oil is kind of in the same category for heart disease. So that's why I recommend not consuming it, and I teach how to do that. And it's, you know, just videos of recipes, and then nutrition tips for your digestion in the course. And then also I teach the method of how to make your own salad dressings, dips, and sauces without oil. So I just go through these 7 different steps that you take, and each one has different choices of throwing things in the blender, and then under 5 minutes you have your flavor.
Nice. Very good. I'll be anxious to check that out. And the way that I found you is kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, through a mutual friend or interviewee.
Yes. So that's good. I like when people recommend other people. I hope that you'll come back and visit with us again and let us know how your program is going. And if you send me a link to that on Facebook, I will also put a link on W4Diva's Facebook page so that people can find you easier.
I'll do that.
Okay,
Once
good.
we get off the call for sure.
So what advice, if someone is just thinking about changing their diet to a more healthy diet, because I think a lot of people are now, I think they're becoming more and more aware of how their health is affected by the way that they eat. So what would you give them, what kind of tips would you give them to start changing over to a more plant-based diet?
So I think it's about what you put in, you know, not at first. Just focus on picking maybe one meal per week if that's all you can do or more. Just committing to a certain number of meals per week that you can make healthier. And I think breakfast is the easiest because, as you said, it's beautiful. It's so easy. It takes me 5-10 minutes to just blend that up. So smoothies or smoothie bowls for breakfast, just start there and be consistent. And another thing is knowing your intention or your reasoning behind what you're doing. As a coach, I'm sure that you agree with me. It's just about what motivates you to do this. If you do something without a reasoning behind it, it's not going to be as powerful. And for me, it's my personal healing journey, but then also seeing my mom transform. It's something that is always in my mind when I make my food choices. So what I tell people is print it out. I even instruct people to do this in the course. Print out your intention or write it on a piece of paper and put it on your fridge so you can see it every single day. And then the third step, which is really important, is to slowly start removing processed food from your life, because that is one of the biggest enemies. So, just reading the ingredient labels on what you're buying and understanding what they say, because sometimes it's all these really weird chemicals that we don't even understand, and we buy it without being mindful of what we're actually putting into our body, which is our only home for life. So we sometimes care more about what we put in our home than in our body, which is crazy to me. Just being mindful of the things that we bring into the home, the ingredients that we're buying. And if you have your shopping cart, just imagine 70% of your shopping cart should be from produce. So just head straight to the produce aisle, start there, and then you can get a little bit of extras from the rest of the grocery store.
Oh, I love that. That's really good. And what do they also say about grocery shopping, that you should stick to the perimeter? Is that right?
Yes, because they put the produce on the very edges of the grocery store, which is so funny to me because that's where I shop,
Right.
So just head there.
You know why I like my why I like my grocery store so much?
Why?
Because the wine is also in the perimeter.
You can indulge in that every once in a while, for sure.
Yes.
It goes with the rule that you just said, so it's allowed.
Yes. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with us. And I hope that you'll come back really soon, because your knowledge is needed and your expertise and guidance is as well. As a society, we kind of evolve into that more healthy eating, realizing that we're doing it for ourselves and our longevity. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Deb. It was really a pleasure. I enjoyed talking to you.
Great. And I'll be talking to you soon offline, too. Thank you so much.
Great. Bye.
Bye. So she was really cool. You should look her up right now. It's called Soul in the Raw, SOUL, soulintheraw.com. And if she was talking about, if you sign up for those 3 oil-free dressings, that you can get involved in her new class that she's having. She gave us a lot of really good hints, and I hope that you take her up on some. If you're thinking about eating healthier, she gave you some really good pointers where to start. You don't have to do it all at once. Just start taking those steps and have the reason be something that really relates to you and why you want to do it, or you won't do it. It has to be a really good reason to improve your life, the quality of your life. It can't just be for losing weight, because once you lose the weight, you'll go back to how you used to eat. So really think about everything that she said, because it was powerful. And I'm so happy that she was here with us today. But here in the studio, we have a new friend, and I'm so happy to have met her. Her name is Anne. How do you say her last name?
You say Boulay.
Boulay.
Yeah.
So, and she's known in these parts as Artisan Anne because she's a chocolatier. And I know we had that conversation about what kind of chocolate you